Hello, welcome to OJ Studios. Please enjoy this week's chapter of Punishment 2, Return of Amanda, by Olivia Julius. There is a secret none of my classmates know. I hope none of them will ever know. The only thing they know about my secret is that last year I was dragged out of my 4th grade class by my teacher. I had cut Gracie's hair in the middle of class. I did it as a dare, a very stupid one. My classmates don't know what happened to me after I had gotten home. I guess that's not all true, one of my classmates does. When I got home after school, I was punished by both my mom and dad. I was forced into a very girly dress, and other girl clothes. I spent all Easter break being forced to act and behave just like a girl. What was worse was that we went to my Aunt George's house that Easter break. My aunt hosts an Easter fair every year that people come from all over to attend. So, I was forced to blend in, and make people believe that I was a girl named Amanda. It wasn't bad though. I had met my now best friend Brittany while being punished. Both of us became friends after we played in a hotel arcade together, and we became bigger friends after she came to my Aunt George's house. After I had won Easter Princess, one of the girls that had lost found out that I was really a boy and tried blackmailing me as she forced me to give her Easter Princess. After being told that I was really a boy, Brittany told the girl that she doesn't care who I really am. She spent the night with me and my cousins as we swam in the creek and slept in an old cabin. That next Monday Dad took me to school now wearing a girl's uniform. He had promised that I wouldn't have to wear it, but that morning he had explained to me that it was not his punishment to release me on. It was Gracie's. After finding out about Gracie's sister and finding out why she had grown her hair out so long, Gracie agreed to release me from the punishment on one condition: to grow my hair out long so that it could be made into a wig. I agreed happily, only later finding out that Mom and Dad had added a little extra to the deal, forcing me to wear panties until my hair was ready to be made into a wig. That was a year ago. Now my hair is still too short to be made into a wig. According to my mom, I probably still have another year, maybe 2, before I can finally get it cut. It's been a full year and Gracie still has not told anyone about my punishment. For the first few weeks I was scared that I was going to walk into class and have everyone laugh at me, but thankfully she kept her promise. Since last year I have not had to put on any girls' clothes. Since the punishment I hardly thought about wearing them too. All of the clothes Gracie donated to my parents for the punishment were returned, the clothes that my mom and dad had bought were given to Goodwill. The only reminder of the punishment that remained is a photo that my parents insist on keeping on the living room fireplace. The dress I wore when I won Easter Princess is still in the back of my closet, and the tiara and sash that I won was now proudly displayed in my dad's home office right next to every Little League trophy that I have ever received. It seems now that things have officially quieted down as things slowly went back to normal. That is where I am now. My head is currently propped up by my right hand as I listen to Mr. Taylor while he's standing in front of the whiteboard writing down notes. The lights were dimmed in the back, increasing my desire to want to sleep even more. The lights being dimmed was part of a class project to only use half the lights in the classroom. It was there where I was sitting, and the thought of just taking a small nap wasn't totally out of my mind. My left hand was supposed to be copying the notes down, but instead when I looked down, I had written unintelligible scribbles on the paper and eventually on the desk. Thankful that my pen didn't work on the surface of the desk, I quickly flipped my notebook over and began to write the notes again as fast as I could. I looked up at the clock and sighed. There was still an hour left to go before the bell rang and we were allowed to finally go home. In my opinion, that was an hour too long. I was ready to go home now. Tomorrow my family and I were leaving for Aunt George's house. We are going to be leaving earlier than we normally do. Tomorrow is Brittany's birthday party and I have agreed to go. I'm going to hang out with her and her mom at their place until the party at the same hotel that we met at. Brittany won't tell me what we're doing before her party but assures me that I'm going to love it. She hasn't outright said it yet, but I know that she has been slightly hinting that I come as Amanda rather than Adam. All I know is that even if she asks, I'll flat out refuse. Besides, there is no way that I can be Amanda, I don't have the clothes anymore to do it. Adam, are you still with us? I heard Mr. Taylor ask, waking me up from my thoughts. Yes sir, I said, now almost fully awake. I looked around to see if there was any hint about what Mr. Taylor was wanting, but there wasn't any. Just my classmates looking over at me. Most of them looked just as bored as I was. Then what's the answer to my question? Mr. Taylor asked. I don't know, I admitted. Pay more attention, Adam, Mr. Taylor warned. I am sure that Miss Valen won't be as forgiving if you didn't pay attention to her history class next year. Gracie, could you kindly answer the question? I sighed quietly. It was still up in the air if I would be attending Little Ridge Middle School and continue stay in the private school system, thus having to attend Ms. Valen's history class, or if Mom and Dad was finally going to let me go to the public school where I didn't have to wear these stupid school uniforms. I looked over to Gracie. She was sitting on the opposite side of the room with the other girls in my class. Gracie stood up, standing at almost near attention. She smoothed out her school jumper before answering. Joan of Arc was charged with heresy, Gracie answered. I looked over at her and she looked back to me and smiled a little before sitting back down. Thank you, Gracie, Mr. Taylor said, and Gracie sat down in her seat. I began to drift off a little bit but awoke immediately when Mr. Taylor said something that caught my interest. Joan of Arc was accused of blasphemy for having worn men's clothes, acting on upon visions that the church believed were demonic, and refusing to answer to the church because she believed that she should be judged by God and God alone. That's crazy. Who cares if a girl wears boys' clothes? I wear blue jeans and t-shirts just like a boy all the time when I'm not at school, Hannah said. Yes, but back then it was different. Women and girls were forced to wear dresses and very long skirts. They also had to be submissive to men. A lot of the boys laughed a little at the thought that men were once superior to women. The girls in the class just screwed up their faces, sticking their tongues out at the boys. I didn't do anything. The weekend that I was stuck being a girl, it taught me that both genders were equal. Even though yes, some of the clothes that girls wear is at least somewhat better than boys' clothes. Can you imagine a boy wearing girly clothes? Timmy, a boy who was sitting 2 rows in front of me, asked. The boys around me erupted in laughter at the thought of boys wearing girls' clothes. I stayed quiet, and looked over to Gracie, who just shrugged her shoulders, giving me an understanding look. Mr. Taylor quieted everyone down in the class. He looked like he had just regretted saying this to a class of 10 and 11-year-olds. Interesting you should say that, Mr. Taylor said. He opened his laptop and the projector screen instantly lit up the whiteboard. Mr. Taylor then walked over to the light switch and turned off the front row of lights, plunging the whole room into darkness. Mr. Taylor took a minute to find what he was looking for. When he did, he slid the picture over to the projected screen for us all to see. Who can tell me who this is? Mr. Taylor said before stepping away from the screen and letting all of us get a good look. The picture is a black and white photo of a young girl, maybe 2 or 3 years old. She is wearing a white dress with a lot of ruffles. She also has a hat with a bow on it in her hands. On her feet she's wearing Mary Jane shoes with white socks. She is also sitting on what looks to me a fake log. The class guessed while Mr. Taylor just shook his head. I looked at the photo and wondered why Mr. Taylor was showing us a picture of what obviously was a little girl. You're not going to guess who this is, he said, finally quit the class again. Then who is she? Maddie asked. This kid is not a girl, Mr. Taylor said before going to the next picture where underneath the photo the name Franklin D. Roosevelt was written out. What? Who is that? A boy named Alex asked. This is President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Showing another photo, this time of an older man who was sitting in a wheelchair. He was the 32nd President of the United States of America. The whole room stayed quiet as the class seemed to be wondering how a boy could look so much like a girl. But I wasn't wondering. I had seen it firsthand a year ago. I'm sure if Mr. Taylor showed a picture of Amanda, then everyone would think that she was a girl too. So, what have we just learned? Mr. Taylor asked. I put my hand up without even thinking. I instantly regretted it when he called on me. Fashion and norms change over time. I said, fully aware that most eyes were on me. That's correct, Adam. Mr. Taylor said, going back to the first slide of the picture of Franklin D. Roosevelt. You see, back when this photo was taken, boys wore dresses up until age 8. That is when they are given breeches. Breeches were short pants given to the boy during a breeching party. Then as he gets older, he will finally get long pants just like his father and other grown-up males. Mr. Taylor sat down on his stool and looked us over. Joan of Arc was arrested and thrown in jail for many things. One of which was wearing pants. Today girls wear pants more than they wear dresses. Unless of course they go here, and they must wear the school's jumper uniform. Seeing fashion changes, points of view changes, I wouldn't be surprised if soon boys' and girls' clothes become interchangeable. Boys and men wear dresses when they want to, and girls wear dresses and pants when they want to. So, for homework tonight I want you to do more research on Joan of Arc, and tell me about what charges she faced, and how her charges would look in today's perspective. This is due first thing Tuesday morning. The class sighed a little bit upon hearing that they were getting homework during the Easter break. The bell rang and Mr. Taylor dismissed the class. I got up and collected my books from under my chair and slid them into my book bag. Have fun at your aunt's tomorrow, Adam, Mr. Taylor said as he passed me walking to his desk. I said a quick thank you, knowing that he was going to be stuck tomorrow watching the rest of the kids in my class during the school's first ever Easter party. I got up and caught the eye of Gracie, who was also picking up her books. So, you won't be here tomorrow? She asked. Even for the Easter party? Nope, I said, heading for the exit of the classroom. Gracie followed me out into the hallway where there was a mass migration of students heading to the school's exit. Going back to your aunt's house? Gracie asked loud enough for both her and I to only hear. Yeah, it's our little tradition, I said with a little shrug. My mom and dad have been going there since before I was born. Will Amanda be there? She asked. I looked at her for a moment and she smiled a little. Don't worry, Adam, I'm only teasing, she said, bumping me on the shoulder. So why are you going so early for? Tomorrow is Brittany's birthday party, I replied. She invited me to it. Ah! Adam's girlfriend invited him over to her birthday. I gave her a look and she laughed a little. We reached the exit, and we were now walking outside to the parent pickup line. I scanned the area for my mom's car but didn't see it. Are you sure you don't want to go as a girl? Gracie asked. She put her book bag on one of the outside benches and sat down. Obviously, her mom wasn't here either. I sat next to her on the opposite side of the bench from her. I mean, girls' birthday parties are always better when you go as a girl. I'm sure, I replied, besides I don't have any clothes anymore. I mean, most of what I wore last year was from you, remember? Well, I'll let you borrow a few things, she said before her eyes lit up. Oh, you know, I just got this pink skater girl dress that I think would look cute on you. Nah, I'm just going to go as a boy, I said with a little laugh. What does Brittany want? Gracie asked. I shrugged my shoulders. To be honest, Brittany never said either way. But, Gracie said, prompting me to continue. But last year before we left the cabin she kept asking if I could go to her party as a girl. I admitted. Then she wants you too, Gracie said. I can have a few outfits ready for you tonight. All you have to do is ask your parents to swing by my place and… I'm not going as a girl, I repeated, now a little more sternly than I meant to. Fine, Gracie said, standing up as soon as she saw her mom's car enter the parent pickup area. But if you change your mind, text me. I won't, I said, watching her leave. I sighed and slumped in the seat a little. My legs were spread out, something that I'm sure last year would have gotten me yelled at by my mother when I was wearing dresses and skirts. I pulled out my cell phone out of my bag and powered it on. Mom and Dad gave me my own cell phone last year right after the end of the school year. I had turned my grades around and ended the school year with A's and B's, a better improvement than my old report cards that were filled with C's and D's. I scrolled down and selected Brittany's name from the contact list. I knew that she would still be in school, she lived in a different time zone than me. It is 3:30 here in Indiana and it's only 2 p.m. in Missouri where she lives. I opened Brittany's and I's text chat. I took a deep breath and then asked her what she had planned for the party. I told myself it was ridiculous to think that she was still wanting Amanda to come. She had even told me herself that she liked me as Adam more and more. But for some odd reason I wanted to know. The message sent, and since Brittany was still in school it remained unread. I looked at the message wishing that she could give me some type of hint. I mean, regardless I would still be going as Adam, but it would be nice to have something to point to next time Gracie says that Brittany wants me to do anything as a girl. I opened the photos in the chat and scrolled through the photos that we had sent each other until I stopped at one photo. It was of her and I right after I had won Easter Princess. We were both still wearing our dresses. I was wearing a pink dress that my aunt's friend had sold us the day before, while Brittany was wearing a light green dress. Back then seemed better. Yes, I was forced to be a girl, but by that time it wasn't really that bad. Honestly, it felt a little bit more free. Then the thought popped into my head. It was just for a second, but that was enough for me to start thinking, what if I was a girl again? I continued to stare in the phone for a few minutes before I heard my mom honking at me. "Come on, Adam!" Mom yelled out. "We got to go!"